Hello everyone, I am so excited for today's video because there is a new collection from Oden's out and neutral indie shades get me, okay? I love the sparkle and shine and just like the extra length that indie shadows go when it comes to sparkle and duochromes and all that. But a lot of the times they're really colorful and I'm so excited that Oden's has done a more neutral palette. I'll say that about it. It's not completely neutral, but it's definitely neutral for indie shadows. And there are two new palettes coming out from Oden's. One is the Jewels and Gems palette. Look at that smoky goodness. Oh my gosh. And then the other palette here is the Stones and Rocks palette, which has some of those neutrals as well, but this one goes a lot more warm toned as well as more green toned. So I'm excited to get into these with you guys. There will be timestamps down below because we're going to be going through a lot. I'm going to show you guys some swatches, describe the colors and details. I thought that I would give you an overview of just like comparing palettes side by side so you can kind of see at least the shadows in the pan next to each other if that was something you're interested in. I do two demo looks which are different from the look I have on. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you some thoughts on the palette. So lots of stuff going on. Before we get into any of that though, some details. This collection is going to be launching on the 20th, I believe 5 p.m. LA time, but I'll leave all the times down below. So very soon, in like 3 days. very soon. There are these two palettes in the collection. There's also some jewelry. I'll get into the jewelry probably toward the end of my review. So again, look for the timestamp and I'll at least have some shots of that. A little unexpected with the jewelry, not gonna lie. I mean, it kind of makes sense with like the rocks and the gemstones and things like that, but I was a little surprised by the jewelry coming in the mail. With that, if you guys are gonna shop, you can use my code Lauren. It'll save you 10% off, and that's including this new collection. The only thing it doesn't save you money on are collab items, which if you guys didn't know, I have a collab with Oden's. Their launch right before this was the Perfect World collection, which includes my Sea Talk palette. And if you're gonna pick up these ones and you haven't picked this up yet, maybe it's a good time also to grab my Sea Talk palette before it's out of stock forever. Anyway, enough promo on my own palette. Let's get into some swatches if that's what you're interested in, and we'll go from there. Let's start off with the Jewels and Gem palette. This is the more neutral toned, more cool toned palette. The outside designs of these are really pretty, but I feel like are a little more rainbow than I was expecting, you know, considering the inside color stories. But let's just get into this palette. You can see these beautiful cool tones, lots of smoky stuff going on, but there's still some rosiness as well. Starting off with the first shade, this is called Ecstasy, and this is a mauvey purple shade. It's a little bit lighter. It almost looks like it's going to be kind of gray in the pan, but it actually comes off more purple. Next, we have the shade Elatedness, which is more of a topper. It is super sparkly. It reminds me of something like Urban Decay Moon Dust Shadow in Cosmic. It has a coolness, but there's also like a soft golden shimmer coming off of it as well. Just really beautiful, gives that wet shine look. Next is the shade Elation, and this is a rosy neutral, really beautiful. It's like a rose wood. There's something kind of brown and grounded about it, but it's definitely rosy, almost kind of dusty, but still saturated. Then we have the shade Exhilaration. This is a black based duochrome. It has like a purple shifty, really sparkly shadow on top of that blackened base. And the purple is kind of this fuchsia-y, pinky purple that shifts to a little bit of a golden color as well. And then last in the first row, this is a beautiful taupey purple matte color. This is the shade Heaven, and it's really beautiful. Again, it looks like it's going to be super neutral, like almost gray tone, but it has quite a bit of purple actually in it. Moving on to the second row, we're coming across like one of my favorite shadows in this whole palette. This one is called High, and it is a golden green with a little bit of blue, but it has a red base to it. One of those just beautiful, like elevated neutral colors you guys know I love so much. This is stunning. It's what I'm wearing in the intro of the video. Love shades like this. These are some of my like everyday go-to kind of colors. Then we have the shade Intoxication, which is a super blackened plum. Again, it looks more neutral, but this one definitely has that purple base. Next, we have the shade Paradise. This is a shimmery black gray. So it has that black base, but then there's tons of silver and a little bit of slightly gold shimmer running throughout it. This one has a little bit of hard pan for me. Nothing that is like too big of a deal, but compared to some of the others, I thought I would just point that out. But absolutely stunning. This one also looks really wet shine. If you want one of those smoky eyes, this one's like perfect for that glittery, shimmery, dark smoky eye. Next, another one of my favorite shades in the palette. This is called Rapture, and it's a matte, but it's kind of satiny. It's a blue toned gray kind of color, so it's almost on the verge of navy, but it also kind of has like something more neutral about it. I just think this is so stunning with some of the like one shadow looks that I've done in here. Again, this is what I used for the wing of my look in the intro, and I just think it's so beautiful. It's super pigmented as well, and there's something about the tone of that color to me that's pretty unique, or at least really intriguing. And then truly my favorite shade in the entire palette, like easy, this one is called Rhapsody, and it is just stunning. This is very similar, I would say, to like JD Glow Unexpected, which you guys know is one of my faves. So I love this. This is like a confetti neutral shadow in that it's like completely neutral, but also completely colorful at the same time. It just says perfect elevated neutrals. Has a red base to it, but then it has like a cooler shift and sparkle on top with some purple, some blue, some gold, some green, like all of that going on. And it's just absolutely stunning. Like, I'm obsessed with shades like that. I could have a million in my collection and not have enough. Moving on to the last row, we have Seventh Heaven. This is like a muted green, almost like an olive color. It's a matte shade. Then we have the multi-chrome that's in this palette. This one is called Swoon. This one is green, it's orange, it's gold. It's really pretty. It's nice and soft as well on that shadow. Then we have the shade Transition. This is another gray toned color, and as much as this has some blue in it, it's more of a green blue gray than the other gray shade that's in here. So there's almost something that comes off a little teal in this gray. Last shimmer in the palette, this one's called Gorgeousness, and this is another gray. This one though is really interesting because it has a golden shimmer on top. So it has more of like that gray cooler base with the golden shimmer on top. It almost gives it kind of a green look to it, and it really walks the line of being like warm toned or cool toned. And then last in the palette, we have a really deep kind of rosewood shade. This one's called Sawzle, and this is like a burgundy brown. Absolutely stunning. I love shades like this, something that's just kind of off black but gives you something really deep. Absolutely stunning. So here is the palette all swatched out for you guys to see together. As you can see, like, as much as there are definitely some neutrals in here, you can really see the colorfulness of this palette when it is swatched out. You can see the rosy tones, the kind of blues coming out of the grays, the greens coming out of the grays, and then tons of fun dimensional shimmers as well. So that is Jewels and Gems. Next, moving on to the Stone and Rock palette. This one again is a little bit more warm toned overall, and it also has that kind of green theme going on through it. So first we have the shade Fervor. This is just a matte white. Like, it is pretty pigmented, I feel like, for a matte white. I don't know when the last time I used a matte white was though. I'm kind of interested though to maybe do like an inner corner color all matte. I think that would be kind of fun to try out. Haven't done that, and I don't even know if I've ever done it, but might be fun. Anyway, moving on, Frenzy is the next shade in here. This is another one of those kind of like wet shimmery shades. So more of a topper. This one has an iridescence about it. It gives like snow fairy vibes to me, like these types of colors where they have that kind of like tealy blue, gold, green thing going on with a little bit of purple. This has like a transparent base though. Absolutely stunning. Love that shadow. Then we have Madness, which is like a swampy, acidy kind of green color. This is like deeper than the chartreuses I've been super into, you guys know, but I love this. I think it's so fun. I had a lot of fun working with this shadow, and I love trying to incorporate these kind of slimy colors into my looks. I know they seem a little off-putting, but I promise they're so pretty and so fun, and I just think they're a little less common overall, you know, in palettes, so I love seeing them. Then we have the shade Passion. This is a beautiful warm toned green shade. Lots of shimmer coming off here, but you can build this one up to more of like a full metallic. It has more of that warm tone with some golden shimmers in it. And then last on the first row, I love this matte shade. This one's called Cheer, and it's a really deep teal green, or like a hunter green actually, like a bluish green. It's just beautiful. Love how deep that is. I feel like it adds a lot of depth obviously to the palette, but you can definitely still see the color coming off, which I love. Moving on to the second row, row. This is probably my favorite shade in here. This is called Cheerfulness. It's very similar to the shade in Amanda's palette, the Flora Story palette, which that's one of my favorite shades in her palette as well. I just love this color. Has a little bit of something like sage going on. It's a little bit lighter for a green. I feel like it's super wearable as a one shadow look. So I just love, love, love that color. Next we have Exuberance. This is another olive green. This one doesn't have nearly as much yellow as the Madness shade. This is a little more grounded and isn't nearly as warm as that color. Then we have Gleefulness. This one is pretty chunky. This is like not my favorite shade necessarily. It reminds me actually of the Single Shadows. I feel like there was a Single Shadow very similar to this. I haven't tried this one on my eyes in particular, but it is like a golden shadow, very thick, can kind of build it up almost to like a metallic. I just worry this might have a little bit of a kind of scaly look on the eyes because I had, well, again, with that same shadow from the singles, a similar experience. But that one specifically I haven't tried quite yet. So anyway, just giving my thoughts. Then we have Jubilance. This is a yellow brown. It is neutral, but it has definitely something green going on. Definitely some yellow in there as well. Then last shade in the second row, this is called Lightheartedness. And this is like a neutral bronze that has like some rainbow confetti going on. Really love the shadow. And this is another one I thought was going to be similar to the singles, but I actually really liked the way this went on my eyes. So that was a very pleasant surprise. Very happy with that. Especially because it's one of the like true neutrals I feel like out of all the palettes. Moving on to the last row, this is the shade Dreamland, and this is a really beautiful grayed green. I'm telling you, this palette has many variations of different greens in here, especially when it comes to the mattes. Then we have the multi-chrome in the palette. This one's called High Spirits, and this is one of those like beetle type of colors. So it has the green, it has the blue, it kind of goes almost purple as well. It's really stunning, and it has that smooth finish on it instead of being like glittery. Then we have the shade Elevated. This is a blackened brown color. Really, really pretty. I love these, like, again, soft blacks almost is what I would call this, because it isn't black. It definitely is brown, but it gives enough depth, at least for me, that it really kind of looks like a black, but softer. Then we have the shade Splendid. This is another one of those like black with shimmers in it. This one is a little bit more intense than the one in the other palette. I feel like this one has more pigment to it, like the actual color, whereas the shade similar to this in the Jewels and Gem palette is more sparkly overall. Like it has bigger shimmer chunks in it. This one almost is like an intense satin. All right, and then last in the palette, we did get a black in here. We got a black shadow. And this one's intense, but there's still something really nice and soft about it. Really quite beautiful. This one gets deep and dark and grungy. Here are all the swatches all together. We really have a lot of range going from like cooler toned greens to warmer toned greens. It definitely can get smoky though. I'll give you that. Like this palette goes smoky, so does the other one. And yeah. All right, now that swatches are done, I hope those were helpful for you guys. I want to just give you some comparisons. So I'm just going to hold up each palette with each other palette next to it so you guys can see just what they look like as overall color stories and all of that. I feel like in terms of overall color story, there's nothing that's super overlapping, and especially when I think of what's limited and what's still available. But yeah, I hope that will help. So let's get into comparisons really fast. All right, let's get into the first look. I'm so excited. Of course, we're gonna be going in with the grungy neutral palette. what? When I saw that they were doing something like semi-neutral, there's still color in here, there's still like fun in here, but a lot of the mattes that are in here are like grungy, like gray, cool tone. I was so excited. So let me zoom in. I do have mascara on already. I did like I don't know, I tried filming this little get ready with me. I don't even, I do not know how that thing turned out. It was supposed to be like a short, so it's like up and down style. What do we call that, vertical? It has a name. Anyway, so I hope you don't mind. We're just gonna put it on top, you know? I really love how all my foundation and stuff is looking, and even my hair, I kind of just let it do its thing. Hopefully the eye look turns out amazing. I already have something in mind, so I want to use these colors. Oh, I love neutrals like this. A rosy neutral, like a gray neutral. Every day, please. Just kind of soft and beautiful. And then this shade here, Rhapsody, is basically like my favorite eyeshadow color. I mean, I've definitely seen these. It's like Unexpected from JD Glow, like that type of color. Oh, I love it. I love when it's kind of like blue toned, gold toned, but it has a pink base, like stunning. So obviously I have to use that. And then I kind of am interested in using the like metallic gray, black, maybe some of this. Who knows what we'll get into. There is just so much fun to be had in this palette, to be honest. First, I'm gonna go in with the peachy kind of color. It's not a peach, what am I saying? It's kind of rosy. It's kind of dark though. I'm just using this to build up a little bit of something in my crease. It's so weird having lashes be in the way of blending. I'm trying to not think about it. All right, I took that pretty high up, just blending it out. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Heaven, this kind of gray color. It's a little bit purple as well. And that's going in my outer corner. And I'm just kind of blending that, getting some depth out there. I really want something kind of grungy and smoky. Really my style in terms of not a ton of structure necessarily, but I am kind of going a little bit more smoky with it, just so we can see like where this goes. I kind of want to even do this like in the inner corner, so I might do that and make it more of like a halo eye. That is one of my favorite techniques with like a grungy kind of look. I feel like it's giving like My Chemical Romance right now, but in a good way, like not in too much of a undead way. For that inner part of my eye, I'm switching to a small brush. This one's from BK Beauty. It's a 207, and I'm going to be putting that just on that inner corner just to kind of build up some of that smokiness there. I'm blending back out with that rose color. But of course I'm gonna put Rhapsody down. I'm just tapping that right in the center, and I didn't add any more glitter glue or anything. So if you really want anything to stick all day, that is the best way to go. But I tend to not, and I always have success. But I'm also okay with that kind of like decomposition of my look throughout the day. I kind of like that. And then when I'm doing the halo eye, I kind of try to bring it up, like keeping it up and down instead of like bringing it too far outside. And I'm just tapping out with my fingers. I think I'm gonna take, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm like, that one or this one, that one or this one. I'm taking some of that shimmery gray, and I'm just using my fingers, so this could be way less sloppy if you weren't me. I'm just kind of using that to halo out, you know, on the edges of that Rhapsody shade. Oh my gosh, it's like glam rock over here. I'm tapping some of that matte we used, the like gray one, just again over everything, kind of trying to just gently blend. And you know, I've been tempted like this whole time, do I go deeper, do I add something else? But I kind of want to leave it where it's at. I love that you're seeing some of the purple and kind of almost blues come through. I'm going to add some liner to my lower lash line. I'm using the Urban Decay Mushroom. And I'm adding it mostly just on the outer part of my eye. And then I'm just blending that out. I'm going to use a little bit of that, again, shimmery gray, the darker color, on that lower lash line, especially toward the outer corner. Okay, I'm brushing away the fallout. I definitely had some fallout. And then for a final touch, I'm taking the shade here. It's kind of like Tassel from ColourPop or Cosmic from Urban Decay, but it has a little bit more base to it. And I kind of just want to tap that on my brow bone. But man, it was more intense than I thought. Maybe don't do that. I'm really just tapping that as a highlighter. I say don't do it and then I keep going. Really what I love this shade for is like this outer corner, and also as like an actual highlighter. It gives that kind of like wet shine look. And now that we're here, I am gonna end up deepening up the inner and outer corner just to keep that depth. So I'm gonna go into this dark purple. It's called Intoxication. I'm using this tiny brush from Angie's line, Singe Beauty, just to kind of gently blend that in the outer corner and inner corner. And then you can kind of see the difference here, just that tiny bit of intensity on this eye. It's gonna pop stuff. Lastly, pop Rhapsody right in the center again. It's stunning. It is so pretty. Let me redo my mascara. I'm gonna like touch up my blush, add a little bit more, I think, and I'll show you guys the final look. Okay, I brought the lights down just a little so you could really see this. I don't think you're ready for this look, guys. I'm feeling like a little glam rocker. I love it. All right, so here is the look. I did add a little bit more to my brows just so they didn't get lost because it was looking like I had like bleached brows for a second. A grungy, almost like oil slick kind of eye. I love it. It's so pretty. It's a little bit grungy, a little bit dark. There's like kind of shimmer everywhere because I did tap it down here. I like love that shade for that. Maybe all of it together is a lot. Like, I can admit, but I'm not gonna lie, I also kind of love it. Let me get my hair out of my mouth. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. Definitely beautiful, but you could just take elements. Like, you could just do this on your lid, okay? These two, just these two would be beautiful. Just these two would be, basically this shadow paired with like anything in here. Beautiful, you know what I'm saying? But there are also a lot of other really pretty shades. Like, I want to use that just on its own, like just a really smoky eye, or just put that in the outer corner and kind of leave the first part. Ooh, maybe do the clear, you know what I mean? Just clear sparkle into that. That would look so good for a sultry look. So I think you can tell this is my favorite palette out of the two, but we haven't even gotten into the other one, I don't think. I don't know how I'm filming this, but here it is with the lights more normal, like what I've been filming at, but zoomed in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Here's everything all zoomed out. Hope you guys liked this one. Let's get into the next palette. All right, guys, let's get into look number 2. This is with the Stone and Rock palette, which is more of green vibes, like neutral, but green still. I am interested. I really want to just try to get this color on my eyes because it reminds me of one of these single shadows, and I like that single shadow, but it also looked a little like, I don't know, textured on my lids in a way I didn't like. So I kind of just want to like test it and see if that happens with that one. But let me put this primer on. I have sparkles everywhere, you guys. Like, I tried. I know it doesn't really look like I really did try to get them off, but they are not coming off without a fight. And I just gave in. I'm just gonna go in with that color. This is called Light. I think it's supposed to say lightheartedness, but it does not say lightheartedness. It says like, it's missing the H. The extra H. Let's see what this looks like on though. I'm gonna put it on mostly the outer half of my eye, and so far it's applying nicely. It doesn't look too chunky because that was my issue with this single. It just like applied, I don't know, it got thick, you know what I mean? And the way that this felt in the pan, I thought maybe it would look like that, but I don't see that happening, which is good, which is a good thing. Okay, now that I have that done, I really, again, just wanted to see how that looked. I was too curious not to try that first. I am going to add, I think I'm gonna go in with this kind of grungy color just to kind of start building up at least some crease, something out there. But I also really want to use this deep teal that's in here, so I'm kind of going gentle with this and just using it to really blend out. I'm going back and forth between what I want to use on that like inner part of the lid. I really love this one, Cheerfulness. It reminds me of, I think it's called Misty in Amanda's palette. So it's kind of similar to that, but I also really like Passion. It's more yellow though. You can see them there. I'm going to go with Cheerfulness. It's just more my vibe. And I'm going to tap that. Oh, so pretty. It's like a sagey kind of cool toned color. I'm tapping that kind of everywhere, even over that last shadow, because that was just a test. Cheerfulness is beautiful. I love that shade. But I also love Misty. I really love Misty, so it makes sense. For the outer corner, I'm going to go in with the deep teal here. I think this color is so pretty. I love that it has a little bit of blue in it. And I'm just going to tap that on the outer corner just to add a little bit of depth. And then I'm just blending out the outer corner. I'm going to clean up just a little bit. I feel like the shine from my last look is coming through a lot down here, and I kind of just want to clean it up. So I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and a little bit of concealer and just kind of sharpen that look. There's this really pretty icy blue kind of color in here. I'm going to use that on my inner corner. Okay, really fast for fun. I'm going to pop a little bit of the green color. I'm going to use this Madness shade, and I'm going to use a big fluffy brush and just kind of pop it right there. Yeah, this is like old Lauren. I love it. I just want to show some like more, I guess, fun looks with the palettes, but then I'm gonna come back with like my more review slash like thoughts and everything, and also the intro, and have more like an everyday look for me. I want to kind of show all of it because I don't know what your style is, you know. This I would wear out. I wouldn't not wear this out, but this is definitely not my everyday. But I think it's so fun to get creative, and I like doing these looks for sure. And it might be your guys' everyday. I'm deepening up that outer corner. I'm gonna add some mascara and I'll show you guys the final look. All right guys, here is the other look. I feel like this turned out. I was getting a little, you know, I wasn't really wanting to do a green, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, these are all beautiful. They all are really pretty, but I don't really want to do a green eye today. That's how I went into this look, but at the end, okay, green eye. I love you. I really love that I added this pop here. Like, I know that that can be a little bit scary, but I really feel like it adds something just perfect. And I love that I did more of the shape as well. I left the bottom lash line clean except for a little bit of mascara, and I feel like that kind of evens out some of the color as well as some of the depth and the shape. It really, you know, accentuates that. I really quite like it, and I feel like it came together. You guys will have to let me know which one you like more. I don't know which one I like more. I'm trying to think. I love the oil slick, but I like the shape. I think maybe just change colors. Even though I'm telling you, the green really worked out. I love that it's kind of like yellowy in that inner part. Okay. Anyway, let me zoom you out so you can see what it looks like. Ooh, it looks good zoomed out too. I really like that little bit more of a cat eye going on, just slightly. Again, I keep it not very structured, like let's get real, but I really love that. Just on my eye shape, I think it looks really good. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these two looks. Now let's get into some thoughts. All right, well, we've done it. You've seen the looks, you've seen everything. Now I thought I would let you guys know my thoughts on these palettes. I am coming back the next day from filming the two looks that I've done, and I wanted to first update you on the green look. I ended up wearing that like the rest of the day. It looked really great, but I will say I definitely had fallout. So if you really don't want any shimmer kind of coming down on your face throughout the day, I highly suggest a glitter glue. Truly, that is my suggestion for any shimmery shadows. I don't always do that. A lot of the times I don't do that because I don't mind a little bit of fallout, a little bit of all that, but I did feel like it was kind of a lot, and I probably would use the glitter glue going back. So just wanted to put that up, but overall it lasted really nice. It looked really great on my eyes. I really liked that look. And overall, I'm really into the palettes. I think these are really fun because they are a little bit more grounded, and you guys know I'm more into the neutrals. Like, I don't get as excited about a rainbow color story anymore, or just a really colorful, like super saturated, bright color story. At least not as much as I used to. I like doing little pops here and there. I love an inner corner pop. I love a single shadow over the lid, maybe something as a wing or the outer corner, but to do a full-on colorful eye look, it's just not as much me in my everyday life, even if I can have fun or really enjoy someone else's look. So that being said, the Jewels and Gem palette is my favorite one. I just think this is so fun. There are some really great shimmers that are in here. I specifically really love High. I absolutely love my eye look today. I really wanted for this video to not only do the demos, but I wanted to do a look off camera and really just get creative and have fun with it on my own. I'm sure some of you guys are gonna wish you could have saw this look, so I'm really sorry that I didn't film it for you, but I do feel like there's a little bit of a different process that happens for my brain and just kind of how my creativity goes and just all of those things. I'm thinking about the looks and the makeup I'm creating on my face differently when I'm filming than when I am just, you know, in my bathroom getting ready for the day. So I wanted to have both of those experiences for the video. I just think it makes me more well-rounded and kind of understanding how I would use this palette, not only on camera, but also like in everyday life, which I think is actually more important. So anyway, I absolutely love High, Elatedness, and Rhapsody. Those three shades to me in terms of sparkles are just exactly what I'm wearing like all the time. So I love that they're in one palette. And then to me, there's so many great mattes in here. I will say you do have to like something smoky on my everyday look. Like, I might be more of a bronzer and one of those like lid shades and be done kind of girl. But I do like the tones that are in here for those mattes. And if you like something smoky, you want something more cool toned, although there is some rosier, warmer tones, you can kind of go that way if you really wanted to in this palette as well. I think there's just a great selection of mattes and shimmers in here. Really beautiful, but I do think you need to like a smokier look overall to get the most use out of the shadows. Truly, High and Rhapsody, like, I just love them. I love them so much. Those are like two everyday shadows for me. I still really love the Stone and Rock palette as well. This one just goes a lot more green. So if I'm going with this, I know I'm gonna get a green look no matter what. Cheerfulness is absolutely stunning. If this is the only shadow you want, it is in Amanda's palette. Like, it's so similar to Amanda. So if you have the Flora Story palette, that's the only shadow you want, you got it, girl. Like, Amanda's color story is beautiful. I just love these kind of like on the cusp of cool toned lighter greens. I just think they're a little bit more easy to wear and wearable for me. This one also goes pretty deep and smoky though, which is great. And you can get a lot of like dynamic looks, but it's just something to keep in mind. And again, as much as this kind of can be a little bit more grounded, it's definitely still green. Like, you're still getting green looks with this. So I really love the selection. I thought these were really fun palettes. Again, I love the Oden's Eye shimmers. I feel like so many of them are good. I kind of pointed out a few of the ones that maybe I don't love the most when I was swatching, so hopefully that's helpful. But overall, I haven't had any bad experiences. I would just say use a glitter glue if you really want those shimmers to stick on your eyes all day long for like long hour wear, but you should be probably doing that with any shimmer shadow if you really want that long-term wear. So happy with these. When it comes to the jewelry, there's a lot of different options. There are some pearls and heart themed stuff that have some earrings as well as necklaces. There's also like a mother of pearl heart set, which also has those pearls going on. There's a necklace, a bracelet, some earrings on that set as well. And then there's a pearl with these really cool hearts. They're kind of like squiggly. They almost look like they're melting or something. I really liked the earrings that came in that set specifically. I've worn those and I thought that those are really pretty. Overall, I would say the jewelry is not 100% my style, but it had me like thinking about jewelry a little bit more, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely a little bit unexpected, kind of branching out into a different realm. It's not makeup per se, but something kind of fun to the collection. I think overall, if you like the style, you'll be happy with the quality, but I don't think the styles are necessarily going to be for everyone. But yeah, I think that's everything in the collection. As always, I hope my video is helpful in deciding if this was something you want to pick up or if it's not. That's always my goal with my swatches and videos and just descriptions, trying to help you guys navigate the makeup landscape. Like I said, this launches on the 20th and my code is Lauren. If you're going to pick it up, save some money, and it is affiliated. So thank you so much for your support. If you use my code, I appreciate it so much. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the palettes. Which one is your favorite? Y'all already know mine. Hello. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.